I can't believe I'm saying this, Charlie. Arsenal are Premier League champions. It's taken them a long time, a lot of second place finishes, but they've got over the line under Mikel Arteta. 22 years, they finally won the league title again. What an incredible night for Arsenal fans.
Yeah, well, tell me what was it like? You went to the Emirates last night, so you're better placed than me. Just give us an insight what it was like and the atmosphere and how many fans were there.
Yeah, honestly, we've seen a lot this season in terms of the welcoming the buses for Atletico and for Burnley how the atmosphere has changed. But this was on another level. I mean, it was a sea of fans all the way around the stadium, all the way down the roundabout. You couldn't move for it, honestly. People on lampposts, flares, fireworks. Just one of the most positive atmospheres I've ever been a part of, as well. I think at times football fans can go the wrong way when they're in crowds like that, and it was all positive. It was all, I mean, why wouldn't it be? They've just won the league, but everyone pretty well behaved, but also having a party atmosphere, and it felt like a release, I think, for those fans, from what I could see, like that 22 years had been building up and up and up, and finally it was being released. But honestly, I've never seen anything like it, especially not Arsenal fans.
I mean, I remember going to the first game at the Emirates in July 2006, and it was Dennis Bergkamp's testimonial against Ajax. And I think if they said to any supporter then, look, you're going to all be, heading back here, celebrating a title win. It's going to be a great night, but you're going to be 20 years older. I don't think anyone would have believed it. Look, Arsenal fans, they've had to be patient, and at times it's been excruciating, but they've deserved it. And as you say, I think one thing we need to pick up on and need to praise Arsenal supporters is their behaviour. And I get a bit wound up by the criticism of some of the fans online and all this, like they're unbearable and stuff. And I think it's harsh. And B, even going back to Monday and all the fans that welcomed the bus, and there were too many people there. It was a bit tight, but the police said afterwards there wasn't an arrest, there wasn't a single incident of disorder, there wasn't a single can thrown at the Burnley bus, all that sort of stuff. That's bearing in mind how many fans are there, and a few maybe had a few beers already. That's proper behaviour, and I think all Arsenal fans deserve credit, and the club deserves credit, because there's ways of winning as well. There really is. And I know they've not won much recently, but that's class. And I think Arsenal fans should get a bit of credit for that, actually, because it's not always like that. And I'm not necessarily digging any supporters out in England, but elsewhere in Europe as well, things do often go a bit lines across sometimes. So it's great. And Arsenal have still got the best bits to come, haven't they? It's not just, of course, the game at Palace where they can really have a party. Obviously, it's a huge shame it's away from home. But, of course, they've got that Champions League final on Saturday. So it could end up being the best 10 days in the club's history.
Yeah, it genuinely could be. I think there's something someone said a few years ago where they said, we were talking about the atmosphere changing at the Emirates Stadium. And it just made me think of then when you said about going to that first game at the Emirates and feeling like the fans, but back then it was quite a soulless place. The atmosphere struggled for a long time. And somebody said a long time ago that Arsene Wenger built the Emirates and Mikel Arteta has turned the lights on. And that last night felt like him properly turning the lights on. And the fans going to their stadium to celebrate, where the players ended up turning up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but we'll get to that. But the players weren't there to celebrate with them. The fans just wanted to be at that stadium where, for most of those people, that's what they associate Arsenal with now. There is an entire generation of Arsenal fans that haven't had the Highbury days, that don't remember Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp, and before that, they don't remember the Ian Wrights, the Rocastles. They don't have memories of these players. They've sat through the Sebastian Scalaccis and the Marouane Chamaks, and they've earned this title, and they've earned that celebration as well. So those celebrations, obviously, that we saw as well. There's a group of the players ended up outside the Emirates at 5 a.m. I think it was Declan Rice, Eza, Jurriën Timber. So it feels like the players have had a bit of a release. Do you think that this could just take the shackles off for that Champions League final and just maybe see them not only in the short term but going forward? Pep Guardiola's gone now. Is this Arsenal team got a free run?
I think we could see a period of dominance from Arsenal. We should do, because they're the best team in England and they're the best place to do that. Look, it can sometimes be short. Liverpool never quite managed it, did they? They had that one title under Klopp, and then City was strong. But of course, now Arsenal's nearest rival at the moment are going to be in transition. And so while I think United will come strong, and you can't rule out Liverpool and stuff, I don't see Chelsea returning anytime soon. But it's all in place for Arsenal, isn't it? Most of the players are all tied on long contracts. I think we'll see one or two big names leave in the summer, but we'll see two or three even bigger names arrive. Mikel Arteta will obviously sign a new contract. So Arsenal are in an unbelievable position. This is what fans have dreamed of. This is what the Kroenkes came in for. Say it's probably taken longer and taken more money to do this than they would have expected. But as I said earlier, everyone is being rewarded for their patience, and I know it wore thin at times, but I think Arsenal fans deserve this. I really do, and it's they've all got to enjoy it because, as I said, I assume it's going to have 2 or 3 years of it, but you can never be sure. So it's just, in many respects, Arsenal fans can all relax now, and it probably makes the next few days even more enjoyable, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's interesting to talk about Mikel Arteta. You just said they obviously expect him to get that new deal off the back of this. I mean, where does this leave him? I think he's been unfairly criticised at times, but the whole narrative has been that he will be criticised until his techniques and his unusual way of managing at times gets the team over the line, and it has now. They have won the league. So where does he stand, and where do you think he will be viewed by people outside the club? And also, I was talking to a few fans last night about, is he now top 4 managers in Arsenal history? Well, Arsene Wenger, George Graham, Herbert Chapman, Mikel Arteta. He's cemented himself with a legacy that so few have managed to achieve. Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there now, isn't he? He's achieved that, and as we said earlier, if they go one better and beat PSG, which I think they can, then all of a sudden Mikel Arteta in that picture of managers in England, moves into the sort of certainly the top 5 or 6, certainly in the top 10 of managers, because not that many have managed to win a European Cup. And certainly not a league title in the same season. So, but ultimately, I think Arteta, he'll be speaking tomorrow at his UEFA Champions League sort of press conference. So we're going to have Mikel Arteta twice in 2 days, aren't we? Tomorrow and then on Friday, which is very unusual. So it's not bad timing, isn't it? If he was going to have to talk twice in 2 days on the back of having won the title, I think even Arteta won't mind that too much, and we'll hear from 1 or 2 of the players tomorrow as well. So that's going to be really interesting. Hopefully, he won't be quite as edgy as he has been some of the last few weeks, and he might even relax a bit. Well, I'm not going to put that much money on
that. Yeah, I'm sure his message is still going to be, not done yet, Champions League final to come, but it'll be interesting to see what version of Mikel Arteta we get, because it genuinely, I feel like he's been batting back the media for for 5 years, and I think maybe he might sort of relax into it after actually finally getting over the line. Let's very briefly talk about how they won it then. Manchester City slipping up. We did our predictions a little while ago, just before the run-in on the show, where we sort of guessed where we thought it could be won and lost. We all sort of said that West Ham game looks tricky for Arsenal. I can't remember what you said,
I said they'd
Charlie.
win. I said Arsenal and Man City would win all their games. They go down goal difference. So I was totally wrong.
There you go. I will credit Simon while he's not here. He's on a train to Paris at the moment, trying to do the PSG media day. I'll credit Simon. He said that he thought Manchester City would slip up against Bournemouth, and they did just that.
Yeah, fair play to Bournemouth. Yeah, I mean, they'll be gutted that they're going to be losing their manager, because you can only wonder where they would be potentially going next season. But yeah, it's been a bad few days for City. It was on the cards, Guardiola leaving, and I know it's not been confirmed yet, but you know, it's that secret. It wasn't really a particularly well kept secret, was it? But I think certainly our colleagues up in Manchester all felt that he would be leaving, and Maresca would be arriving. So it looks that way, and it will hurt. I think privately, although Guardiola will be gutted at failing to win the league, I'm sure part of him, I'm not sure necessarily would be pleased that Arteta's won it, but you know, I think it's someone he knows and someone he's had a part in. I don't think they're quite as matey as they used to be. I think their rivalry has taken its toll, and that's why they don't probably speak to each other as much as they used to. But look, once they're no longer rivals and not managing in the same league, maybe that will thaw a bit. But certainly, yeah, a bit uncertain for Manchester City. But it's the total opposite situation for Arsenal.
Can you believe that's what we're saying now, that there's uncertainty around Manchester City, and that it's the opposite for Arsenal, because it's felt for years like that was the complete utter opposite way around, wasn't it?
Yeah, and to say, look at what happened to Arsenal post Wenger. Look what happened to Manchester United post Alex Ferguson. So it's going to be uncertain, because Maresca's the obvious choice. It doesn't mean it's going to work.
Yeah, and it didn't work out for him at Chelsea in the end, did it? So we'll have to see what happens. I think very briefly, it would be amiss of us to not very, very briefly look ahead to Crystal Palace. Are you expecting Marley Salmon, Max Dowman, Andre Harriman and Noose, all of the kids out there, and a few players with a few sore heads just trying to get over the line and avoid getting injured before the Champions League final?
Yeah, maybe Mikel Arteta out there as well. Yeah, she would love to. But yeah, I imagine so. I mean, it's now, what a position to be in. Because there will be some players with knocks, because there always are at this stage of the season. There's probably very few of that squad who have not got an ache and a pain. So to be able to rest them, or even on the bench, is a brilliant situation. That's given Arsenal's Champions League hopes, probably improved it, I think, by maybe 5-10%. Just be able to have a rest, and it'll be a great day. I mean, as I'm sure you've been in the away end at Crystal Palace, Josh, but it is without doubt the worst away end in the Premier League. It's an absolute disgrace. So, but I think Arsenal fans will be the first set of supporters there this season that won't be moaning about what a crap hole it is, because they'll all be absolutely chuffed to have that ticket that I think was going for about $4,000 to go yesterday. It's going to be a very, very special day. Very, very special. And also it's given the Premier League, a headache that they don't need, because the trophies, in the past, they used to sort of have a helicopter flying about with the trophy. I think in previous seasons, they've actually got 2 trophies. They've got 3 actually, but 2 trophies. So they'd have had 1 trophy at City and 1 trophy at Arsenal, and Arsenal would have had the replica actually, because the holders would have kept it. So at least Arsenal will actually have the Premier League trophy. I'll give myself a little story there. I should do that really, shouldn't
There you go. Yeah, everyone keep an eye out for that. That's going out online later on. Well, I think that's about it. I think we've all got to go and enjoy this. Thank you for watching, and we've given you another 15 minutes of content because I'm sure every Arsenal fan right now is just scouring the internet, soaking it all in, pouring their champagne on their Cheerios as they read the newspapers, because that is an incredible moment. 22 years, Arsenal are champions again. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.